Yo, what is up? This is episode 14 of the Glimmer cast. I'm your host, Rhea, and we have our friend Devin from Olde Nerdcast joining us again. What's up, Devin?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, yeah. Fun fact, I watched this movie 3 times in preparation for this amazing show. So
why?
I like I said last time, I just have a problem with like retaining information from a first viewing, and I was kind of under a time crunch with like work and blah blah blah. So watching it while I'm working adds to that. So I had to add a couple extra viewings of this masterpiece we're about to, eviscerate.
Oof, I barely made it through one viewing. It was real touch and go for me for a second.
Was it like unbearable at times for you?
Oh, like all the time. Like it was worse than I recall. Like I watched it. I don't remember how old I was when I watched it, but I had to have been like a teenager of some sort. And I didn't really like it then, but I couldn't remember any part of it. So this was really like a brand new viewing experience for me.
Yeah, no, I remember watching it as a kid as well. And yes, Neon Sci-Fi 3 times. As a kid, I always loved Pauly Shore movies and how I would watch them.
That's
because
such a devastating statement.
What's funny is that like I would watch them on basic cable. So like, interestingly enough, the country music TV channel, whatever, CMT, would like play Pauly Shore movies like ad nauseum. So that's how I would like get access to this content.
That is really random. Why would CMT do that? He was an MTV VJ, so it would make more sense for like MTV to show him, but CMT?
Oh, dude, I feel like this was around the time where like MTV was like playing Friday and like next Friday and Friday after next, just like every day, like not even on Fridays either. Hey, Potion. But yeah, like, oh my gosh. And I was never like a big fan of country music either. So I never really understood why Pauly Shore movies would come on that channel, because the only maybe country music adjacent movie he's made that I am aware of is Son-in-Law. Have you seen that one?
You know, I remember that was one I watched a long time ago as well. But just like this movie, I forgot everything about it. Like I've watched at least 3 Pauly Shore movies and have completely wiped them from my memory. And I know that I went into the theaters to watch In the Army Now. Like I remember going to the movie theaters to see that movie, and I still completely scraped it from my memory. And you mentioned that it was free on YouTube, so like I popped it on, like started watching a little bit of it just to kind of refresh my memory. And it was even more awful than I remember, not just from the point of view of just being a bad movie, but like just a lot of the themes and the jokes were very, it would get a lot of people canceled, let's just say, if it came out today. Like it was rough. It was rough watching it. It was like a Harvey Weinstein fever dream. And it makes sense that it was Pauly Shore and Andy Dick that were in the leads of that movie. Like,
oh, that's right, Andy Dick was in that movie.
2 people that I just can't stand at all.
Yeah, I think that was the movie he made before Biodome, which is like the quintessential Pauly Shore movie for a lot of people, if not Encino Man. And like he cut off his like trademark locks in the Army Now. I think that was supposed to like represent him going like trying to like level up as an actor or something. But then he just like, backtracked and did Biodome with one of the Baldwin brothers, Stephen Baldwin. Yes.
Stephen Baldwin in that one? I never watched Biodome, so that one's foreign to me. Ooh, but
that
I remember
one is free with ads on YouTube.
How do you know all this? Are you
because I was
down
looking
all these Shore movies? Jeez.
Yes. I have a problem.
Yeah, you do. That's rough.
I actually just pulled up the trailer. So like for folks who haven't seen Encino Man, we're gonna similar to what we I think your camera just blinked for a little bit, but
I'm trying to fix it.
No problem. For folks who haven't seen Encino Man, we're gonna play the trailer for you just so you can get like a glimpse into the madness that we are going to try and make sense of in this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share the tab. Alrighty, let's go.
Recently, 2 high school students unearthed a prehistoric man in their own backyard. Their story is completely true. Encino Man.
Huh? Flamage. Oh, he is so greasy. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
Wow, who's the guy with the dork squad? Is he fun or what?
This guy's our ticket to fame and popularity. All we gotta do is get him enrolled in school, and he'll help us become popular.
He's a looker.
Blake, be careful!
He's dope. I'd go out with him.
Go Songus.
I'm too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan, New York, and Japan. Today, buddy, we're going to discuss the beverage.
What are you doing, Mr. Stoney?
We figure we's a little juice.
No, wheezing the juice. No, wheezing the juice.
Hollywood Pictures presents Encino Man. He's 1,000,000 years old
Milk does the body good, huh?
Great hair.
and living proof that evolution is not an exact science.
Go there, go to the wheel.
Check out the fresh nurse, squeezing the juice.
Buddy, you got him talking like you now. Too sexy for this song.
Oh,
You look so exhausted.
you just made me relive that entire movie, basically.
That was basically the whole movie in the
That was
trailer, y'all.
almost the entire movie.
The one thing that that kind of is irritating is the fact that, like, and this is me trying to find logic in this movie, that like he's supposed to be 1,000,000 years old, and I'm just like, but his body would not even like be like the remnants. You couldn't even like defrost like from that. Like, no, he would not be physically like, intact. I don't know. That was the only thing that bothered me in that whole movie.
You got to dispense with like any kind of science or logic or anything with this. Like, they found him buried maybe 8 feet, 9 feet in the ground in California. Like, there's no way that he would still be in a block of ice. And I have a lot of questions about what the fuck he was doing digging that hole in his backyard anyways. Like,
it was his parents' pool. They have him back there sweating, digging
to dig
their
a pool. But like, not with like a shovel and a wheelbarrow. That's like slave labor. That's what you would do at like a slave camp. Like you would have like a machine, and you'd have to have zoning and figuring out where like the pipes and the wiring is. There would be little red flags all over the place. There was none of that. It was just a giant hole, and he was digging a ditch in there. And then so they found like the pot first, which honestly, like, I went into this movie expecting to be annoyed by Pauly Shore, but I was not expecting to be even more annoyed by Sean Astin's character. And his character was way worse than Pauly Shore's somehow.
Wait, so like, what were some of your gripes with? I think his character's name is David, some generic, kid name like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was just like a psychotic narcissist in like the worst possible ways. And like a lot of the things he did just didn't make any sense. And like his motivations were just completely like, I ended up sympathizing with Pauly Shore's character more because he seemed more human. Oddly enough.
Stoney. Yeah.
Yeah, Stoney. Stoney seemed like a more human, rational, empathetic person, and he didn't seem dumb. Like, he knew stuff. He knew what the pot was, where it came from. So it was like, okay, so Stoney is not like he's not a complete like imbecile. Like, he actually knows some things. He cares about people. Like, why am I rooting for Sean Astin's character? He's just a complete maniac. No wonder he's digging a giant ditch by himself back there.
I just wanted to show like the exact scene that we're talking about. So yeah, Sean Astin's character, y'all know him as Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, obviously. But yeah, like this is where well, other than Goonies, I think he was in Goonies, right? Like, yeah, this is him as a little bit older in the 90s, like playing generic high school kid. Pauly Shore is his best friend, and who just like lives at his house basically. We don't know anything about Stoney's like how home life or anything like that. Like, so that's a little jarring. We don't know like, you know, why he's always at their house eating their food.
He's just kind of like you get the sense that he's like the stoner kind of, I mean, his name is Stoney, like a slacker, you know, just like that kind of archetypical character from the 90s, except for like the fact that he's actually the smart one and actually the one that seems to care about people rather
than an actual moral compass. Yeah,
he has like a moral compass of some sort. Like it's really weird how the character dynamics between these two play out. Because like, yeah, I absolutely end up like despising David, you know, by the end of it. We could talk about what happens towards the end when we get there, but yeah, I've got a lot of problems with that character.
Yeah, like this scene is one where I can like I can empathize with how you're like, yeah, like F David, because David's like, you know, whole like motivation like throughout this movie is to get with this girl that, you know, we have this creepy like upscale up panning camera on, and by the way, she's supposed to be a high schooler, so that's weird.
Yeah. This is a hyper-sexualized high school movie, which I guess, you know, was more common back then than now, but you know, what does that really say about, you know, back then?
Yeah, no, totally. And like, yeah, it's something that like he even says that, you know, he wasn't even into her until like she like, I'm like
became a babe or something like that.
She grew up, you know, quote unquote. So yeah, I was just like, wait, that's totally like, you know, gross of you to like totally shoot her, like put her aside until like, you know, it suits your purpose.
Yeah, like he said, he literally did say like, I didn't really want her until she became a babe or something like that. And
yes,
like,
yeah, that's closer to what he actually said.
Fuck, man, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. I don't want to root for him.
Look at this old ass bag of Doritos.
Oh, those are classic Doritos. Those are classic Doritos. Oh, man.
You can actually see inside the bag. I've never seen a bag like that before.
It makes me want some. I remember eating those a lot. Yeah, this scene also introduced that bully character. And like, I have to ask people every time there's like a bully in like in one of these types of movies, like, did anybody ever experience bullying to this degree? Because it seems to be a conceit in a lot of these movies where like there's just this guy that's basically an orc and he just runs around like he's groping her and like he's being super, super psychotic about like his possessiveness of her. And it's like, in what universe would these two characters ever get together? You know, and like it is such a common thing with all of these movies, and I've never experienced. I mean, I had bullies growing up, but they weren't like this. Like the bullies I had growing up would you know, they would probably be bullied by these guys, you know. But like, so I always wonder, like, does anybody have high school experiences like this with ruthless bullying?
Okay, so like no cap, like I was one of those kids that ate lunch like inside and just sort of chilled in the computer lab and worked on homework, like maybe in the library. So I didn't really have these like social interactions. So I think that's why I'm so fascinated with these movies, because I'm living vicariously through these people who actually.
Oh my god, are you living vicariously through Pauly Shore movies? Oh, what are you doing to yourself over there? This is how a psychopath is crafted. Jeez.
I know it just sounds just terrible, but it's like, okay, I'm capping on these like, you know, characters, but at the same time, I'm like, I secretly want to be them.
Oh, that is devastating to hear. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's a whole other can of worms that's going to require some therapy or something.
That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. This teacher was a real creep too. Like, there was a moment.
All of the teachers are creeps. So, did you peep that? Like,
I didn't know. I guess I was paying probably a little bit more attention at the start of the movie than towards the end. But I just remember when he got up in this girl's face, all like flirtatious, like one of his students, like talking about like, I forget what they're talking about here, like the Mesozoic era or something. But like he just kind of saunters up to her, like he's about to throw down game, and like gets right up to her face and shit. And I was like, what is going on here? And he looks really weird. Like, he looks oddly sweaty right now.
Oh, it looks like I got suspended. Darn it. Okay, so It didn't happen with the plane, but it happened with Encino Man. Darn it.
Oh no.
I'll go ahead and stop playing it. But yeah, it'll probably resolve once after a minute or two. I think that happened during Gotti as well, or other
that's
like
no
streams
good.
I've had. Yeah, sorry folks. I'm just gonna type into the chat really quick. Sorry, we're back.
That's so weird because you weren't really playing anything.
I thought I could like kind of sneak under the radar by having it on mute, but yeah, no, still was caught. Yeah, no. So like, apart from like my weird like vicarious living through these characters, they're also sort of like really tropey in that like I feel like I've seen this movie before, like, but through like different types of movies, because of all the different high school bully trope, girl like unobtainable childhood girlfriend trope, and weird sidekick friend trope.
Yeah, that's still devastating, but
I'm not trying to make excuses, but yeah, no, I feel like that's kind of like another weird like fascination I have with these types of movies, because like they're kind of like comfort food, they're junk food, they're kind of silly, they are like they're products of the zeitgeist of the time, and it's kind of like going into a time capsule, for better or worse. It's sort of like this weird like like amorphous sort of like reflection of society's past that I just find fascinating. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm into them too.
Fair enough. It is that. This is definitely a time capsule of the early 90s for certain. And I got a lot of those. I had a lot of moments where I had like kind of nostalgic kind of flashbacks, maybe. Like when he was walking, when Brendan Fraser, the Encino Man, what did they end up calling him? What was his name?
Link.
Link.
As in missing Link. Yeah.
Link. So when Link is walking through the student hallways, the high school hall, and they're playing that hip hop, and like those weird dudes are like doing the dance to it or whatever. It had that kind of quality to it. Like it was like New Jack Swing style hip hop that I used to listen to in back in middle school and whatnot. So when that happened, I was like, oh man, that kind of feels oddly familiar, even though it was like a really weird scene. But yeah, there was a lot of those kind of drops in that movie. Like that Dorito bag was like just the start of it, really.
What's like?
There's a lot of product placement when they went to the store and like they were going through all
like
the
icy
candy.
Slurpees, all that candy. It was sort of like I feel like this movie didn't realize like how satirical it was being, like by like poking fun of like contemporary like 90s like superficial consumerist like post 80s culture, and like for me I was like, well, maybe the movie does know that it's being satirical, or like because it's like so over the top silly, but it's weird. Like I don't want to give the movie too much credit that it was like a way before its time. It was trying to make social statements and all this other stuff, or like point the mirror at itself or at the audience. I'm like, I don't want to think too deep on it. I'm probably thinking more about this than the writers actually did writing this content.
Absolutely. I don't know what kind of commentary this would be trying to deliver with its really. I mean, I guess maybe. No, not even then. I was gonna say like maybe it was some kind of commentary on how David viewed popularity and chasing that, and his relation with that girl, I forget her name. But even then, like there were never any consequences between him and his relationship with her. Like there were never any consequences with how creepy and weird and possessive he was. He walked around with like a picture of them in like a bathtub as they were kids or something like that.
Yes, that was so cringe.
Yeah,
he went to follow her to the big hockey game or whatever, and he just whipped it out of his jacket saying, "Look, we were naked together bore."
Oh my god!
No.
Like, why would anyone ever think that would be a good move to make? Like that would be. Oh Jesus! So yeah, but she played it off like it wasn't that big of a deal, anyways. So it was like, okay, there really isn't any consequences to like this guy's crazy behavior. It at the end, Well, actually, how did it end? Did I just completely wipe the ending of this movie from my memory?
there was a totally rad dance sequence like at the prom, because these movies, like it's a teen movie, so obviously it has to end at the prom, right? So
yeah, there was a big dance sequence. It's almost like they filmed the movie and they were like, "Oh, we're 30 minutes shy. Oh, let's just dance for 30 minutes."
Oh, and then there was also a follow-up dance party at the pool, which was not even completely built.
Oh no,
it was just still a hole in the ground
with a bunch of muddy water in it. I was like, "Oh, those kids are all going to get really sick jumping in that thing." It was really disturbing. Yeah.
No, like what's I don't know if you've like ever like lived in like Southern California. I used to live in San Diego, so a lot of like the tropes, like apart from the caricatures and the consumerism culture and all this other stuff, like, you know, kids like being excited about Taco Bell and Doritos and stuff like that, like that's nothing new, that's still current. But like just kind of like the mix of like cultures in Southern California, for like a lot of them were caricatures in the movie, like, you know, you got the Mexican gangster guys in the bar, you know, like clearly they're in there, and then like, you know, the convenience store, you know, workers, like I don't want to, you know, guess what, you know, race or ethnicity they are, but yes, like you could probably get where I'm coming from. You know, there's that conventional trope of, you know, convenience store owners there, and like just like really like kind of like a dichotomy of like, you know, the posh, like, you know, like Sean Astin's character living up in like, you know, this really nice big house. He has 2 parents and, you know, dual income household, 2 kids. And then like they actually spend most of their time like in the quote unquote, you know, like working class or lower income, you know, areas or parts of town. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and you know, it probably would have made the movie better. Maybe it would have made more sense if Pauly Shore's character was like poor and had like a poor family or whatever in a rundown part of town, and like Sean Astin's character visited there and maybe understood a little bit why Stoney is a little bit more empathetic and a little bit more personable, and, you know, maybe had a little bit of that dynamic going on, so that there is a little bit more growth in David's character relating to his interactions with his best friend, who probably has like a harder upbringing and whatnot. Like they didn't go anywhere near any of that. Like Stoney lived at that house, you know, like he was just one of the other kids, and the parents, like they comment on it a little bit. And maybe this was also like a conceit of TV shows in the 90s, because I feel like that was also, I remember that Step by Step show, and there was that Cody guy, I think, who was always just over, you know, like Steve Urkel, who was just always over at, you know, at their house. And it kind of felt like he was that kind of character. Like if this was a sitcom, he was going to be the wacky neighbor who was just always there, and there was like no explanation for it or anything. But like there could have been a moment, like speaking to your point, where they show like this social dichotomy between the wealthy side and the working class side and all of that, you know, they totally didn't play towards. And instead, like, they kind of use going to like a rundown bar with all the black and brown people in it as kind of like a bit, like, oh, look at these guys. And it wasn't even that good. It was actually, there were 2 parts that really like, it was rough. Like the first is when Brendan Fraser's character is, you know, roaming through the house and trying to discover where he is, and he turns on the TV and it's all those tribal African people dancing, and like he starts dancing with it. I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. Like this is so bad. And it went on for a while too. And then they kind of call back to that when he was in that bar and saw those black guys dancing. He's like, oh, it's like the tribal Africans dancing again, and starts dancing with them. And I was just like, this is...
I feel so shitty not picking up on that. I apologize.
Oh, you have to apologize. I'm glad that you weren't paying that much attention to this movie. It was rough, though. It was a brutal scene to watch. And even outside of like him interacting with the black guys in that bar, then you had that oddly racist, like, you know, Hispanic trope of like the cholos and, hey, nobody touch my girl and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, oh my God, what is the point of all this? What are we doing here? It was tough to watch. Like there were multiple times when I like had to get up and walk away and get a drink of water or something. Like this movie, I went through it watching this movie.
Garguts, you've joined us at a very opportune time because we're like in the middle of tearing this movie apart. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah,
I
no.
was having trouble with my microphone. Then I realized, oh, it's not plugged in.
Yeah, no, totally. You're all good. Yeah, we were talking about some of the for lack of a better term in my brain, caricatures that are present in the movie. And yeah, a big part of it is that like knowing that this used to be common practice in a lot of older movies that I still, enjoy watching. I may subconsciously like glaze over it, not realizing how problematic it actually is. So yeah, at the same time though, like I was trying to, kind of explain that like it being in Encino in Southern California, it's kind of as much as it is like, a lot of caricatures that are problematic. There is like some inherent truth that I have to, begrudgingly admit is there, of course. But yeah, that doesn't take away like, the fact that a lot of like, the presence of the caricature is supposed to be meant as a gag to the point that you were making, Devin.
Are you trying to say stereotypes?
Yes. Sorry, that was my me meandering, trying to like be as unproblematic in my explanation as I could while still being very problematic.
Yeah, no, it's the 90s. Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah. No. Yeah. So like we were just talking about like kind of like some highlight scenes from the movie. Do you have any that come to mind that were either like WTF for you or just like really cool or like yeah, the floor is yours.
WTF moment probably how fucking creepy Sean Austin came out to be 20 years later, 30 years later. And then like
oh, you mean creepy now?
Yeah. It's like I
don't really follow him. How is he creepy now?
I don't know. He was just the guy was doing all the wrong things, but yeah. I have no idea. It was just weird. Like he was like being the
you mean his character in the movie is creepy.
Yeah,
okay. 100% agree.
Oh, Neon Sci-Fi. To your point, there is a kid who is in the computer club that Brendan Fraser in one of the montages is befriending, and he gets a little bullied by the hip hop kids that we referred to previously, like oh, you're in the computer club, blah blah blah, like, and that kind of stereotype was in the film as well. Although like the character themselves wasn't like overtly like nerdy or anything like that. They were just a kid in the computer club. That was something I did, kind of, peep a little bit. So yeah, just wanted to call that out. And yeah, I would recommend watching it, for like, if for nothing else, just for like the really weird vernacular of Pauly Shore's character Stoney. Because that's the one thing we haven't touched on yet. Just like the weird phrases that he came up with that are supposed to be like surfer dude bro Southern California speak. But I don't remember anyone but him or people parodying him like, actually speaking that way, y'all. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Pauly Shore was a stand-up comedian, and he crafted on the set a character kind of like his Larry the Cable Guy, I guess, of being like this stoner surfer bro kind of guy. And, that's where the weasel and all that sort of stuff came from. And this movie basically is that stand-up character's movie. So I didn't get like nobody. And I remember this really, at least this is the one thing I remember very clearly, is that he was very isolated in being the only person who ever said any of the shit that he said in this movie. I never knew anybody who said wheezing juice or weasel or any of the other greasy. Maybe somebody described somebody as greasy, but like I never heard any of that stuff around any of the people that I hung out.
I got it.
Grindage.
I figured it out real quick. It was like grindage was food.
Yeah. Wheezing is in consuming, I guess.
Is this California stuff? Like I never lived in California. Like, is this California stuff?
I never. The only like terrible California like stereotypical manner of speaking is the likes and the ums and like the Valley Girl 80s manner of speaking that I unfortunately have. But I've never used any of these phrases like unironically that Pauly Shore uses.
Yeah, he was, I don't know. That guy was born off of MTV just shit. So that's what it was, and that's what he was known for. That, and you know, the his yells and stuff. That's all what he does.
Yeah, I mean, and that was this character in this movie, really.
Yeah, no, I was playing some clips just to kind of illustrate more of like what we're referring to, because there are a lot of like jarring moments apart from the, you know, the caricatures that we pointed out and the weird vernacular that's just, you know, made up out of thin air, but somehow became a stereotype for how Californians speak. But yeah, no, Garguts, what other noteworthy parts of the movie did you want to call out?
Well, no, I like the music that they had, very 90s music. Takes them to Mega Mountain. That's fun. Never been, but pretty sure all that stuff's gone. I guess, I don't know. And then yeah, it's like, right? Is that place gone?
Oh, Encino. That's like in the valley near LA. So no, it's still there. It's probably called like it's either like Six Flags or Magic Mountain or one of those now, probably. Yeah. So then that, and they, you know, they had some good thrash bands, and then one of my favorite band, Infectious Grooves, was on there, and they're the band at the end. Oh, at the prom? That's the name of their band.
I was wondering who those dudes were.
That was they're basically Suicidal Tendencies. That's Mike from Suicidal Tendencies, the singer, and Robert Trujillo, who's now in Metallica, and he's the bass player.
Oh yeah.
And they're from Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. They struck me as like, I was like, I feel like I should know who these guys are, but I don't.
Garguts, does this movie resemble any of your high school experiences at all, or is it a complete work of fiction?
No, it kind of did back and then. Kind of.
Wait, what?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you have like a crazy psycho bully problem, or were you the bully?
No, there was always bullies. Hell yeah, there was always bullies. You know, you just know how to square up with them, and that's it.
I mean, that's my experience too. Like, I was bullied a lot, but I never dealt with a bully like the bad guy in this movie. Like, he was next level, like just ready to throw down in the middle of an ice rink. Like,
he is also being portrayed right now on. Have you ever watched wrestling? There's this guy, Gable, or whatever. He always goes shush, and he's doing the same character. He's doing the same.
Really?
Character. Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that wrestler, but I'm gonna have to look that up and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. One of the things that I just remembered from one of the 3 viewings I've had today was the fact that the bully character pretty much exposes that Link, the Cro-Magnon dude that they defrosted, is actually a Cro-Magnon dude, and no one cared. Literally, no one cared.
Yeah,
they were like, "Get off the stage."
I was honestly like, why would anyone care? Like, what's funny is that he got up on stage and was like, "This guy's a caveman," and everyone started like cheering, which is funny because that seems like it would be like a compliment, like, "This guy's an animal" or something like that. He's a caveman. And they all started cheering. I was like, yeah, that sounds like the appropriate response. Like, what did you think was going to happen when you showed up? Like hijacked the prom to tell everybody that dude standing over there is 1,000,000 years old.
But what was so weird is that Sean Astin's character actually tried to tell his love interest, "Hey, like my friend and I like defrosted a caveman at my house. Can I show you?" And she was just like, "I just don't think I can handle a caveman right now." And I'm just like, someone actually wrote this dialogue. In what world is that a response to what he just said?
Well, it was a really thoughtful answer on her part. I don't think I can handle the caveman right. The funny thing is, like, when they first discovered him, and like they go and they bang on the window to get their mom's attention, and they're really freaking out. They're like, "Mom, Mom," and they're like smashing the window. But she's just like, I'm working, and closes the blinds, and it's like, there could be a bobcat out there. It could be something dangerous. Like, they're freaking out. You should probably see what's going on. You're a terrible mother. Like, there could be a bloodbath out there by the time you're off the phone. Like, figure out what they're freaking out about.
What's funny is that Sean Astin's character actually refers to that moment with his mom. He's like, Mom, remember when you left me at the airport or something, or blah, blah, blah. Because he was trying to, you know, convince them that he told them about Link coming to their house as a foreign exchange student. And then he was like, yeah, remember how you forgot me at the airport? Well, you forgot that my friend, a foreign exchange student, was going to be staying with us for a few years. And so like, they were like, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Seems legit.
Yeah, there's no bureaucracy in this movie. Like,
No,
he just shows up at high school and everyone's just like, oh, I guess we got a new student here.
Like when at the end when they have another earthquake, a little small earthquake, it's to allude that you know there's going to be another one, and then like all of a sudden like she just thaws out like by herself. What? Why? I'm so confused.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
She thaws out by herself, and then somehow knows what a bathtub is, and like makes herself a bubble bath.
I saw that. Yes. Yeah. And yeah. I was just like, okay, they have to shoehorn in a love interest for him. So like, oh yeah, he like left his love interest a million years ago in the past.
Why did they feel the need to do that?
For a part 2.
Oh yeah, which we never got.
Right. Probably
actually, they did do a part 2.
Was there an Encino Man 2?
Encino Woman.
You're right. I remember hearing that.
I saw Encino Woman, but I didn't know what that was. I thought it was completely unrelated.
It basically just not even like nobody was like there was still a David. I think there was a guy named Stoney, but he looked like he just had frizzy hair. The girl was different. Everybody was different, and it was like a made for TV movie by Disney.
Oh,
by Disney.
Yeah. They were taking over.
No,
okay, well, I'm definitely not watching that one.
I couldn't even get through it, man. I was just gone. If you thought this was worse, this is B-rated worse. Maybe C-rated with D-rated actors.
Wait, so like, did we cover why Sean? So one of the things that Garguts, when you said that Sean Astin like became like a weirdo like in current day, that reminded me of Devin. You found like some of Sean Astin's work on his IMDb.
Oh.
That was like really sus.
I've known that he's taken some pretty weird roles post Lord of the Rings. He actually was in a movie with like Danny Glover and some other people called Checkmate, which is a hilariously bad movie. One of my favorite bad movies of the recent years. If you can find it somewhere, I recommend watching it. So I just wanted to see what other weird stuff he's been up to. And yeah, he had a couple of movies that the titles were just outlandish. One of them, I don't want to say either of them. I don't want to say either of them because both...
I wanted to like at least show them on IMDb. It's taking a little bit to load.
Okay.
I'll probably try on the Wikipedia. But yeah, it's weird.
It might not show on his Wikipedia because I think both of them were like short films or something like that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So I don't know if y'all like have followed Pauly Shore's like career. I kind of do every like few years. I look up Pauly Shore, like what's he doing and blah blah blah. He's on Cameo, which if y'all aren't familiar with Cameo, you can basically call up quote unquote celebrities to respond or answer questions for you and say quotes for you as well. And they do that on a per dot on like some sort of like scale of pay for whatever it is that you want them to say or whatever. So yeah, he's on there, and he also had like some reality shows and some kind of like fourth wall breaking shows that were were more like scripted reality shows too. So yeah, no, it's been interesting. He's kind of had like kind of like a career resurgence, just from being like self-aware of the fact that he's forever known as the Weasel, his character in this movie. I don't think he's been referred to as the Weasel in any other movie besides Encino Man either that I can remember. I don't think like in Son-in-Law or in the Army Now or even in Biodome, like he was referred to as the Weasel. I think it's just in this one.
That makes some sense. I mean, that was his, I think, stand-up character. So, I mean, this was a movie that was basically premiering him as his stand-up character. So, you know, they probably didn't want to make a Pauly Shore cinematic universe with the same character in all of those other movies.
Totally.
Apparently, Pauly Shore said that movie Guest House is basically the Stanley character in, you know, the Weasel when he's grown up.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Guest House?
Yeah, Guest House, where he stays in the guest house and they try to get rid of him and he has war with his neighbors. I saw this in an interview saying that it's basically the same character. He's just smoking weed and doing crazy shit.
Was this from like a TV series or a movie?
It's a movie.
I'm not familiar. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I did not know that. Like, I know that his, like, yeah, to the point that y'all were saying about him being a stand-up comedian, I know his family, like, owned, like, a really prominent LA comedy venue for a long time. So that's kind of, like, where he got his foot in the door. And then he obviously he was on MTV. He was a VJ for a bit. But yeah, no, there was just, like, this period of, like, 4 or 5 years where he was just, like, everywhere. And, yeah, no, I think that's why, like, I kind of have, like, a small affinity for his work, because it's, like, so quintessentially, like, that, you know, core period of time for me in my childhood. Yeah. I don't know if it's the same way for y'all or if he's just, like, an annoying, like, you know, repressed memory that I unfortunately unearthed for you today.
Well, I mean, there was a lot going on in the 90s, and Pauly Shore movies were a part of it. Like, there was a period of time when he was a fad, a trend amongst young people. And I got caught up in it at that moment. I mean, again, I did go see In the Army Now in theaters. So like,
hell yeah.
I wasn't immune to it, but he burned hot and quick. And I think, you know, once people got sick of his shtick, he just kind of fell out of the spotlight. I don't think any of his movies were. I think Encino Man might be his best received movie. I don't know about The Guest House if maybe that's received any better, but I mean that would have been long way after the fact. All of those movies that he did back then were widely panned and deeply despised. And I know that a part of his falling out of the spotlight is just the fact that, you know, he got sick of being hated by everyone, right? And I really felt bad for him for a little while. I saw an interview he did. I can't remember with who. I think I feel like it was a comedian that has a podcast. I don't know if it was Mark Maron or somebody else. Because comedians actually like Pauly Shore. So it was interesting listening to him. I wish I could remember who did it. At a certain point, I started to feel bad for him. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to give Pauly Shore another chance if, you know, blah, 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 blah. But then watching this again last night, I was like, no, I'm glad he's done. I'm glad he's done. Like, it just really reignited all of that old 90s hate that I had for Pauly Shore, that a lot of people had. You know, he's a complicated guy in that regard. I don't think he's a bad person. He had a Fox show for a little while. He had a show on Fox. I forget what that was called. But that didn't last very long either. It was after the Biodome stuff, but it was too soon still for people to like be ready for Pauly Shore to come back.
See, one thing I'm just now like realizing is that like he has like this like perfect SNL character, you know, that you can like sit and watch a few minutes of, and then you'll get your fill, like, you know, off of that. And I do feel like Pauly Shore has the chops to character act as other, you know, different entertaining characters as well, but we just never really saw that from any of his work after that, after you know, the Weasel, or the Weasel bit. So like, I feel like if he had, you know, broken into like Mad TV even, because that was a thing back then too, or got onto SNL, he could have like had that, you know, space to foster other characters to do even more, you know, weird SNL movies, which, you know, we could probably like talk for years about all the SNL movies that have come out over the course of the last like 20, 30 years. But yeah, no, I just feel like, yeah, he kind of did himself a little disservice by not, you know, spreading it out a little bit more and just sort of like rode the weasel bit into the dirt, basically.
Well, it's kind of sad to think about it because, like, Sean Austin came out of this and eventually was in one of the greatest movie franchises of all time. And Brendan Fraser came out of this and is in one of the most highly regarded movie franchises of all time. So Pauly Shore really he really took one for the team in respect to his career with this. Like, yeah, everybody else came out golden.
People have always talked about like reunions and stuff, and they've even said, yeah, I mean, if they want it, yeah, we could do it. It's just all up to the internet if they want it. And I don't think the fan base is there. It's got to be like a pop culture thing that just kind of grows on you. But with the whole what Pauly Shore's doing now, he's doing stand-up, and he's actually coming to my town in like a few months, so I might go check it out. But he's I mean, I've seen some of his stand-up. It's pretty funny. He talks about Encino Man. He's like, yeah, I'd love to do Encino Man. I just don't fucking talk to those people anymore. He's like, do you really think? He's like, do you really think that Brendan Fraser is gonna really call me up and say, let's do Encino? I was like, dude,
he has to resort to self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
Well, it seems like there's a little bit of self-awareness there, though. So that's actually a good sign, I think.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
He knows, and he's made his movie Pauly Shore is Dead, which I guarantee you we're gonna have to get to at one point. And it's all about him realizing that, you know, he's not A role, he's just B role.
I'll have to put that on my list.
And they've always compared him to like Adam Sandler. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
That's what I was thinking of. Like Adam Sandler had the SNL, you know, like backdrop to like help, you know, like have a career foundation and branch out a little bit. Pauly Shore didn't really do that.
Oddly, the person that came to my mind, also SNL alum, was Rob Schneider.
Yes. Yeah, who I would argue he fared a little bit better out of like the 90s and 2000s than Pauly Shore did, because he had that range, or quote, I use range like, you know, very flexibly, but yeah.
I mean, he had his moments. He had his string of movies in the aughts, the Deuce Bigelow, and then the other one I can't remember. You know, he got to the point where South Park was parodying him, so you know there was a certain level of success there. He fell out also, but I mean, I don't think he ever reached pure peak hatred the way that Pauly Shore did back in the 90s. So yeah, he probably did fare better.
Yeah, and another kind of trope I was thinking of too is like these quote unquote stoner comedies. Like I'm a fan of you know, Bill and Ted, Beavis and Butthead, and what other like iconic like stoner bro duos am I missing? I know I'm missing a few.
Cheech and Chong.
They were like one of the original stoner bros, or like stoner buddies. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who like, yeah, like I don't I guess Clerks is like so well known, and like it doesn't really make sense to talk about it anymore because everything's been said about it. But like, yeah, that was like another sort of like happy accident, I guess, that came from that movie, is because like it really isn't about Jay and Silent Bob. They're just sort of there, but they're so captivating that, you know, they became the stars of the franchise.
Yeah, for certain.
Yeah.
What about Jesse and Chester?
Who are they?
I know, right? Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, no, that I don't think I've seen that one. I'm very much aware of, like, you know, the name of the movie, but not the actual
Ashton
movie.
Kutcher and what's his name? Sean William Scott.
Yeah, no, that was like
both of those guys really blew up after that one.
Yeah,
blew up in a psychotic way after that weird ass movie.
Let me see.
Definitely.
Harold and Kumar. Yeah, no, that I love those movies for sure. Yeah. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. yeah, there are some definitely like some big ones for sure. I just couldn't
Nicolas
like.
Cage blew up after that too. After
Oh yeah, Nicolas Cage and Fast Times, right?
He
Yeah.
was there for 4 seconds. He was like the cook.
Yeah, no, like I guess like we've kind of said all we need to say about Encino Man. This movie is not that deep at all.
It's pretty straightforward. The guy, I don't even know how they get the girls.
Oh yeah, no, like it's
my god.
really
Okay,
weird.
there's still so we haven't talked even about a small fraction of this Psycho movie. Like so first off, they take
so much, like they edited out. Like I feel like there's more footage that we never seen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Which is a crazy thing to say because what we do see is psychotic. Like they take him to school and like it must have been the first day or whatever. He does that crazy gymnastics flip off of like the top of the stairs, and then like tries to ruthlessly assault a schoolgirl. Like,
yes, you reminded me of all the stuff I didn't want to talk about.
That is a callback too, because remember they're talking about cavemen, and then they're like, yeah, these.
Oh yeah, you're right. The creepy teacher.
She's like, hey, he's hot. I'd go out with him, and like already alluding to she's gonna like Brendan Fraser, and then he's like, he just takes what he wants, even as woman, and she's like, oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah,
so she likes it when it really happens with the real caveman.
I was mentioning earlier about that teacher like being super sexual with her in that scene too. Like he got up in her face and was like, he would just take you. And I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? But that's I didn't get that. That totally was a callback to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she was into it. Like credit her, she was super into it. Like everyone was into this dude.
I like the Clerks because the Clerks actually went. They went into other movies. I know one of them was in Booty Call, and the other one was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, I think.
Oh, you're talking about the convenience store workers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I recognized one of them from Paul Blart, which is another cinematic gem that I unironically enjoy.
So there was a lot of people in here that they were making their way up. I mean, like the Cave Nugget girl, Cave Nug, that was Sonya Blade in Annihilation.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Also a lot of stuff.
I forget what her name is. Not Rose McGowan, but
Robin Tunney. No, Robin. Yeah, Robin Tunney.
What else was she in?
Which one are we talking about? The one that he likes, or the one that likes the caveman?
She had a split cameo for a brief second, but yeah, no, there were just a lot of like faces that I recognized that I just knew from other movies from after that movie. After.
Do you know what part?
Yeah, I would have to find the clip really quick. I can't play too much or else I'll like get flagged. But yeah, give me a second.
No, but you don't have to play the clip. Do you know the part? I'd probably know it.
Oh, so like Brendan Fraser's character, he bumps into the glass, right? And then that's him like entering the high school. Then he comes in and pushes his way past like two girls, and one of the girls is like, "Who is that?" And it was just really like split second.
Oh, that was Rose McGowan.
That was Rose McGowan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I knew. I was like, she looks so familiar. But yeah, it's so funny because like I remember her first seeing her like in Jawbreaker and then like in Scream. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm a big fan of her.
She went out with Marilyn Manson.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
There was a lot of people in here. There was a lot of weird callbacks too that they kept doing. I was like, why are they doing these callbacks just to like? Is it just standard procedure for Hollywood just to make a movie?
Oh, you mean like the Terminator 1 callbacks when they do the "I'll be back" references out of nowhere?
Yeah,
stuff
like that. And then like you were saying about the dancing. Oh, my favorite part was when they go in there and they start drinking the tequila. It's like, you want to be a man? You want to be a weasel?
Oh boy!
And
I was like, don't they have to check ID? Like, aren't these kids like 17, 18 at most? And they just waltzed in and started drinking at the bar.
Well, they had the tequila with them. I don't know. Maybe it's like a BYOB club. That place was popping at like 3 in the afternoon.
Yes, it really was.
And then he tells them the cheese is old and moldy, but like in Spanish, queso está feo. Forgot what it says, but he's like, start laughing. And he's like, "You're right, she ain't worth it." Then he starts crying because he gets slapped, and he starts crying. He's like, "Come here, vato," and he starts hugging him.
Yeah. That guy is going through like a bipolar breakdown or something. Like he starts off super aggro and threatening people, and then he's like, "You're right, she's not worth it." And then he starts crying, and they're dancing. Like it's a wild mess of a scene with that guy, and I felt sorry for him. I was like, this guy needs help, man. He shouldn't be drinking.
And then they're like, they drive them back home, and they're like bonding. Like all the gangster dudes are in the back, like learning Pauly Shore's vernacular, like and they're just like bonding over that. Did you catch that? It was like a cute little moment.
But that's funny. You did remind me of another incredibly crazy scene. This is like I mentioned earlier, like Sean Astin's character David or whatever is a wholly unlikable person. Like,
I think you froze.
Me? Oh, sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
1 second.
Man, and they don't even explain how they get out of jail.
They really don't.
Yeah, I guess they just kind of let him out or something. But and that was a brutal scene. He calls her. He's like, "I'm using my one phone call to ask you to go to the prom with me." And she's like, "No, I don't want to, but I want to go to the prom with Link. Can you ask him for me?" I was like, "Really? You're going to do this to him over the phone while he's in jail?" Like, that was brutal.
That was rich.
That was the one moment I was like, "Oh, I feel sorry for Sean's character here. That's a cold-blooded way to get the knife." But then from there, like, he's, I guess, so distraught or whatever. And this flips me back around to like hating him. He takes Link and like tries to abandon him on the side of the road like a dog. Like,
oh yes, there's this weird like, "Go on, get out of here, like scene. And I was like,
so what is going on? And he starts going with the skateboard and everything. Lord knows what was in the bag.
There's no telling, but he was basically condemning him to death. Like he would have died out in the wilderness by himself for certain.
Well, no, he's a caveman, so he would have.
A caveman, that is true, but like, you know, he would have been stabbed by a drifter or something. Like he was a pacifist caveman. There's no telling what could have happened.
Right, there was this whole montage of them trying to like train him to like in different forms of combat, like to defend himself against the bullies. Then that led nowhere.
Well, no, he did end up beating up the bully on at prom, right? On
you're right. During the showdown, after the bully exposes him as a caveman and no one cares, and then he just comes and like punches him and starts the dance sequence for like a few minutes.
I like how they watch an old WWF match.
Yeah,
and, Gorilla Monsoon's on there. And, it's like, dude, this is
that
crazy.
Also, along with the Dorito bag, that also gave me flashbacks watching the old WWF videos.
Mm-hmm. You're muted, Rhea. What happened?
I just have to show the dance scene, just like a short clip of it, because everyone is just perfectly coordinated out of nowhere, like, and is on beat. So
you know what it's called, right? It's called the California walking dance. Something?
Look at these moves, though.
Is that what that is?
Let me see.
That looks exactly like Vanilla Ice's dance in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Like the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Oh gosh, this is so good. This is probably like my favorite scene, and they're just I just wanted to show that. I think that was his audition for George of the Jungle too.
Oh, I forgot all about that movie. You're probably right. That's probably how he got that role.
Yeah. No, he did the whole thing that like I didn't even know existed until like I saw George of the Jungle, because I did not grow up with that cartoon. But yeah, no, that's I got suspended again. Darn it!
Oh man,
they're
cracking
ruthless.
down on you.
What happened?
I got suspended again. It'll go away now that I stopped playing the video, but yeah. Dang,
That's so weird. That's so weird because I'm also simulcasting on YouTube and they're not touching me.
Yeah, no. I wonder if it's like snipping out the parts that are like unavailable.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh nope, I spoke too soon.
Oops.
Does that mean that they can't hear us?
Yeah, it'll take like a minute. Dang it! And everyone was just now tuning in, listening to us talk about the movie. Yeah, sorry.
So they can't hear us right now?
Nah, like it's gonna take a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
No, it's my fault.
Dang it, fast and loose with the YouTube censors.
That's so weird because I don't. Damn, no wonder my shit always goes down.
YouTube is pretty brutal about that sort of thing.
Late at night, it doesn't. I can really get away with a lot of stuff.
Oh, I was curious. So, Devin, you actually do like edited movie reviews, and they're for more like a lot of recent movies too. So, like, how do you have you had any of your content blocked in certain countries or anything?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every time I upload something, I'm constantly doing disputes on copyright claims. So it's just a constant, ongoing thing. And most of the time, I'll quote unquote win a dispute, so that I won't be blocked somewhere. But a good amount of times also, though, I'll just be like blocked in Brazil or something. Like one of the things that Justin and I started doing recently was watching Unsolved Mysteries. And actually just last week I started watching Beyond Belief with another streamer friend of mine.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Jonathan Frank.
Yeah. But I tried to upload and edit it Unsolved Mysteries, and it's blocked pretty much everywhere except for like a couple. Vietnam, I think, is a place where it's available, but like everywhere else it's blocked. And it's like, all right, well, whatever. But that's why, like, if I know I'm going to do a stream that's going to have like a lot of clips or videos or something like that, I'll just do a Twitch only stream.
Gee, I got blocked the other day for like, I don't even know what I shared. Something that NBC just blocked me for, but you could just switch your VPN.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I do have a VPN, I just forget to turn it on. But yeah.
So they can still watch, but yeah, Twitch is something that I'm probably going to be leaning towards. Not soon, but in the future, because get away with stuff over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like music and all that other stuff. It's a little more lenient. But yeah, no, Encino Man, like unless like we're missing any other super gross scenes.
Yeah, that part where Pauly Shore's like, he was like telling the dad at dinner that he would want to marry his daughter.
Yes!
Oh yes! I was about to say that too. Oh, that was so cringe. And she's like maybe 12 at most. Oh, like
and like nobody batted an eye. They were just like, oh, no, whatever. You want to marry
the dad made a joke like, oh, I'm counting the days. He said it like, oh, you're so annoying, like in that type of tone, but still, like that's not the proper response.
Yeah, the proper response is get out of my house. I forgot all about that, but I remember like when that happened, I think I may have audibly screamed.
I died laughing. I was like, this is still a movie? Damn.
I mean, considering everything else leading up to that, I guess that probably wasn't as out of place as it seems.
I mean, both of y'all pop for that shit right now. Just probably the way we all pop for when we watch it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that was big cringe for sure. Absolutely. Let me think. What?
There was a lot of big cringe moments.
Did David's character? At the end of the movie, did David's character learn a lesson?
No, he got rewarded for all his, his poor decisions and behavior and selfish behavior.
Did he get with that girl that he? I really can't remember.
Yeah,
Past,
they made
like,
it at the hole in the ground.
Did they
That
make
was supposed to be their pool.
Dude, I
they
couldn't
made out of
believe-
that muddy puddle.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that there was people just partying at a fucking pool, and I was like, where are the parents? Where are the parents?
Oh, those parents are the worst parents imaginable. There's just so much neglect going on. Like,
I was going crazy. I was like, where are the dude? And then you think it's over, and he comes back. I'll be back, but like doing his Pauly Shore thing. I'm just like,
just groans.
okay, so David really didn't have a lesson. Like, he was the worst person throughout the entire movie, increasingly so as things go on, and try to leave Link by the side of the road. I don't know if he learned anything from any of that. I guess at the end, even when the bullies broke into his house and stole those pictures, and he was chasing him back down to get him back. I don't really know if he was doing it to protect Link or if he was doing it to protect himself. Like, if he wanted, like, because he was totally trying to use Link to, like, become famous or popular or whatever. Like, there was no consideration to him as being a human being at all. So even when they get to, like, the club scene and, like, they get on stage, like, he gets bullied again by the bully, but Link saves him. So, like, he still ends up getting bailed out in the end, and then he gets the girl. He doesn't really learn anything. Like, he's just a shithead through and through, and then, like, gets away with it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Like, he should be punished for everything he does in the movie, yet he's rewarded every time.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Link failed that entire school year.
Yeah, all of those kids should probably be held back, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think, like, for me, this movie, you've definitely, like, kind of yucked my yum a little bit as far as, like, my love of this terrible movie. Like, even though, like because everyone has, like, their own, like, little, like, guilty, things that they enjoy guiltily, I guess. And this is definitely one of them for me. But yeah, just, like, highlighting all the failures in it has definitely, like, made me a little more skeptical about how I want to, like, enjoy it going forward. But I still give it, like, maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, it's
7 out of 10.
At most, yeah, I probably would have gave it a 7 out of 10 before this conversation. Probably lowered now to, like, a 6 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I mean, they were capable of actually shooting to film, and it plays when you press the play button. So there's some there's some cred to give there. It was capably shot. All of the scenes were well lit.
It was serviceable to obviously, yeah.
When Link was putting all the pictures on the walls, was he using his own shit? Was that what to be inferred? Because, like, he wasn't that muddy, but there was, like, cave drawings all over the place. So I was just like, is he drawing cave drawings with his own shit? What's happening here?
Now I'm going to have that visual in my head. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that crossed my mind. But, I mean,
maybe a 5 out of 10?
3 out of 10. I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Ay caramba. Okay. Garguts, your turn.
I'm trying to see what this guy has done, the director. Man, I think he came from MTV.
That makes a lot of sense.
Fun fact, Pauly Shore won Worst New Star at the Razzie Awards that year for Encino Man.
Wow.
I wonder what other movies came out in that year.
92?
Yeah.
93?
So 93.
But okay, this guy was a documentary. He did a bunch of documentaries. He did behind the scenes footage for Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Jaws. Man, okay, so he was dipping his toes and stuff. Oh, he was just producers. And then he directs this? What?
Okay, so 1992, you had the number one movie that year was Batman Returns. Then there was Home Alone 2, Lethal Weapon 3, Sister Act, Aladdin, Wayne's World. Much better movie if you want buddy stoners. Basic Instinct, A League of Their Own, Bodyguard. Let's see if this even registers on this list. The Mighty Ducks at number 30. Wow, I love that movie. Encino Man was number 37, right underneath Mo Money and right before Forever Young.
What are those movies?
Oh, Forever Young.
I remember Mo Money is one of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Damon Wayans, maybe?
Yeah, Damon Wayans and Stacey Dash, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or I think no, that's Stacey Dash.
I don't know what Forever Young is.
Forever Young was the one where that dude, he's just old. He just ages. I don't know what happened. He's like he comes back from the dead or something. I don't know. It's weird. It's an old movie. I remember seeing it once or twice. And he just like rapidly ages, but he wants to be forever young or something. I don't know. It's a weird old movie.
Interesting.
But actually, the director he did after Encino Man, he did Miracle on 34th Street, and then Flubber and Blue Streak, which is freaking great. I like Blue Streak.
Blue Streak.
Yeah, with Martin Lawrence.
Yeah,
one of my favorites. So this guy actually did direct some good stuff. I don't know what American Outlaws or The Man are. Oh, The Man. Oh, I have seen The Man. Is that the one?
I wonder if because I also read on this movie that like it made $40 million in the box office and it took $7 million to make. So he must have like been pretty good at pulling out like, serviceable, crowd pleasers like Encino Man, and was hired for like a few more, hits after that, quote unquote. But yeah.
Man, Encino Man performs so much better than some of my favorite movies. It's really breaking my heart right now. It ranks in movies released in 92 better than some of my favorite movies.
Oh my god.
Like what are some examples?
Well, Universal Soldier I really liked. Three Ninjas, Hook, JFK, Candyman, The Muppets Christmas Carol is just one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, those are some bangers for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hard. That's hard. Juice? Way better than Juice?
Oh, come on.
I can't look at this anymore. That's just depressing. Free Jack. Okay, Free Jack is a movie you're gonna have to watch at some point.
Oh, what is that movie? Do tell.
Mick Jagger is a villain in it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is one of my other friends reviewed this actually. It has Emilio Estevez in it too, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I will definitely have to watch that. That was actually a review that we were talking about doing. So it's funny that you brought that up. So I might have to look into that for next time. But it'll be your choice to pick the movie this time since I made us all suffer through Encino Man this week.
Is that the one where they're in an RV?
Free Jack?
Kind of. They're in futuristic cars, and it kind of seems like a minivan or something inside of it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen this movie. It's a great movie.
It oddly is. It is oddly a great movie.
I gotta rewatch it.
Wait, Emilio Estevez had a big year in '92. He did Mighty Ducks. He did Free Jack.
Yeah. I
think he was dating Paula Abdul at the time. Yeah, things are going right for him. Good for him. 92.
And now, I don't know what he's doing.
I think like he left the Mighty Ducks Disney Plus series like due to like a vaccination requirement. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, all right.
Wow.
I would have just said, "Fill me behind glass. We're in hockey."
Just make it my character's trait that he goes nowhere without his face shield on for hockey reasons.
Penalty box at all times.
I'm really enjoying these like bad movie discussions. Like Devin, did you have a movie in mind for next time, or are we going to have to circle back and plan for that once you're able to think on it?
I'm gonna have to think on it a little bit because most of the time I gauge it on the movie that I just watched. So I don't want to pile like it has to be like a good breadth of different types of bad movies. So it can't be another movie that's kind of in this vein. It has to be something a lot different so you can get coming into it with a little bit fresher view on it. So I'll have to think about it a little bit.
Alrighty, that sounds good. Yeah, no,
Like, this was
Garguts.
a really good change up from Money Plane. Money Plane. I will
Money
say
Plane, yes. Yeah, no, it definitely was.
I got a good one. Fogtown.
What's that?
Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper. And he's
Oh.
the last man on Earth, and he has to go and basically seed every woman again.
Yeah, I watched that one. Hell Comes to Frogtown or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hell Comes to
like
Frog.
Roddy Piper movies are not to be trifled with. Those are good movies.
There's a part 2.
Oh no, he's not in it, is he?
No, and it's
Okay.
terrible.
Okay. Just so long as he didn't tarnish his reputation after that first one.
That was he has some good liners on that one, but he's basically just battling all these beasts and stuff.
Yeah, he has like a cod piece too, right? Like a cybernetic cod piece or whatever. It's a really weird movie. You could put that on the list too. I'll have to give it some thought on what we're gonna do next time.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this series and talking with a bunch of different folks about bad movies, and yeah, no, it's been great. But yeah, any like closing thoughts before we finish up, and where can we find y'all?
Well, my question for Garguts is, what is your ranking on Encino Man?
I'll give it a 5.5, just because of nostalgia.
Okay, wow. All
5.5 out of 10. Nice.
I guess
it's one of those things where when I put it on, I kind of was like, God, this is bad. And then all of a sudden I just really got into it, how bad it was, and started dying laughing at the stuff that didn't make any sense more than I was laughing at the actual movie.
Yeah, that happens quickly.
Yeah, the absurdity. Just like laughing at the existence of this movie.
Bad cuts in the edits. I was like, okay, this is fine. It'll be great. He drank water from the gutter. He chugged salsa.
That was gross. Like, because he also spit it back out into the thing. Like, yeah, I was not a fan of that scene.
Yeah, no, the club scene and then like the prom dancing scene. Yeah, these dancing scenes. Yeah, they're the highlights for me.
The cocoa, where they do the conga.
Yeah, they're in like a little line dancing. Yeah.
Who congas at a bar? Like, that's so weird.
Oh no. Oh, actually, it reminded me of another movie called Trojan War, where they go into the bar, and his some girl says that he looks like Chandler from Friends, and it's Will Friedle from Boy Meets World.
Oh. Weird.
That's a good one. I would put that one over. I think y'all should watch that one next or whatever. But I rank it at a 5.5. Nostalgia, like I said, it was kind of funny. It did get really funny, and then it just got really dumb. And a lot of characters didn't have any. I mean, the only person that really shined on this movie was, and he went nowhere, was Pauly Shore. He was just the when Pauly Shore is the guy that's telling you don't be an ass. Like, I'm just like, God, wow, this is going. Yeah, Sean Astin's character went nowhere. Pauly Shore's did. I don't know. It's high school, whatever. It was brutal and cringy, and I guess I'll watch it again maybe in another 10 years.
Yeah, gotta give your brain time to recover from this viewing. Yeah, no, for me, like I said, I had an affinity for these types of movies. Like, it's cool to like, see like this sort of fictionalized, version of high school that I didn't really actually get to experience, but that's like kind of been made into tropes that I'm really familiar with. So it feels like I knew these characters, even though I really didn't, because they've been repeated throughout, pop culture and TV and media and movies like all my life. But yeah, no, this is just one that um, followed all the tropes to the point where like it was so like uh, it just kind of blurred in with the rest of like this sort of like forgotten 90s era that people for us think that like for the best, like we're just gonna leave it there because that was like a not so favorable aspect of the past that we kind of don't want to remember existed, and it makes sense after us critiquing it. So yeah.
I will say. I'm sorry, go on.
No, I said I just realized that these writers actually they did some good stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like one of them worked on Weeds. She was actually in Terminator, as I guess as like somebody that gets killed probably. I didn't even realize that. And then she's also the one who did, she's also the one that did Encino Woman. So that makes sense.
Oh, it's rad. Yeah, no, this has been awesome. Thank y'all so much for coming on to talk about Encino Man. Hopefully the next bad movie is a little less insufferable and more enjoyable to talk about. But yeah, no, Devin, where can we find you at?
You can find me at Olde Nerdcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Olde Nerdcast there as well, and on Twitter at Y Nerdcast.
Nice. And Garguts, where can we find you at?
I was trying to type that in. What is it again?
Y Nerdcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Twitter. And then Ye Olde Nerdcast on YouTube and Twitch. Links in the description as well.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, and then you can find me over there on GARGUTS Entertainment on YouTube. I do a show. It's not late. You're late every night, and just about every night. And tonight is beer night, so usually a competition on me chugging beer for some reason.
Are you going live like right after this?
No, I'm gonna go on my usually time slot at midnight Central Time.
Oh, got it. So like in an hour and a half or so. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. If I'm still up, I will come through.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and play the outro music. Thank you to Devin and Garguts for hanging out. And we'll see you later for another episode of the Glimmer Cast. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
It was fun. Take care.